Yeah. I said, yeah. The walls are closing in. Devin Haney is mandatory. We got to talk about it. Sandor Martin. What's up? Now, make sure you guys follow me. All social media is linked in the description. Devin Haney has officially, he's been ordered, y'all. Devin Haney has been ordered to face his mandatory challenger, Sandor Martin. The WBC has officially ordered champion Devin Haney to defend his WBC light welterweight title against longtime mandatory challenger Sandor Martin. The purse bid for Haney-Martin is set for June 18th. Now, this may come as a shock to some of y'all. To me, it is not shocking. Yes, Devin Haney just fought a little over a month ago against Ryan Garcia. We're still not over that fight because Ryan tested positive for Ostarine. So now they're trying to figure out what happened. Ryan is claiming innocence. He's saying, I don't know how this got in my system. I didn't do anything. Devin Haney's side is saying he should be banned for life. And at this point, we're in the middle of an investigation. So some people are shocked, like, hey, how is Devin being ordered to rematch? Or not rematch, but why is he being ordered to fight a match between Sandor Martin so fast? Reason being, Sandor Martin, like I said in my tweet, he's been a long time mandatory. So he's been the WBC champion's obligation. Now, again, you could listen to Boxing Ego in this sport of boxing. There's a lot of fake news, a lot of misinformation, a lot of bad information. Listen to Boxing Ego. I've been in the game 10 plus. I've been in it 10 plus. I've been in this game for years. It made me an animal. There's rules to this. I wrote you a manual. And you don't have to. You can. It's up to you. There's a lot of misinformation, a lot of propaganda, a lot of people pushing narratives. This is not shocking that Devin Haney is being ordered to fight his mandatory based on the fact of Sandor Martin has been patiently waiting. I've been patiently waiting for a track to explode on. You can stun if you want, but your ass will get rode on. You gotta do something, baby. This is dated back, I believe, Regis Prograis versus Devin Haney for the WBC title, December 9th. So when Devin fought Regis Prograis in December, he was the winner. They made that fight contingent on the winner fighting against Sandor Martin. So I believe Sandor had to take step aside money then and allow the fight because he should have been fighting Regis Prograis, who was the WBC champion. However, Regis felt, I'm with Eddie Hearn. Devin Haney was with Eddie Hearn. This is a bigger fight. This is a bigger opportunity, more money. And he decided to fight Devin Haney. He lost fair, he lost. Well, I can't say fair because people are complaining about the weight, but that's a whole nother story. I don't even want to get into it. Check some of the other content. Anyway, he lost in the ring to Devin Haney, who came in 25 pounds heavier the next day. He lost his title. Devin, best performance of his career, probably, against all things considered. And Regis hasn't been back since. Devin Haney then was supposed to fight Sandor Martin, and he didn't. He was like, in my opinion, clout chasing Tank, fighting Tank's leftovers, wanted to fight the guy that Tank beat and try to outdo Tank. We know after watching that fight April 20th, that didn't happen. Ryan finessed him with the weight. Ryan came in 3.2 pounds, and his team foolishly agreed to continue the fight. Not only did they agree to continue the fight, they didn't really tax Ryan as much as another team would have taxed Ryan Garcia's team, meaning you do other things like make him do a same-day weigh-in. They had no rematch clause. They had no same-day weigh-in after he missed the weight by an egregious amount, because when someone misses the weight, it's unprofessional. Point blank, period. Unprofessional is unprofessional is unprofessional. I get that. And I've always condemned fighters who don't make what you said you could make, the contracted weight. That's what you signed up for. That being said, when someone does miss, which does happen in the sport of boxing, when someone misses weight, you now have a choice to renegotiate and determine what the next step is. Devin Haney's team felt that we can still beat this guy and the weight wasn't going to factor. And they were that confident, supremely confident. And then the next day he gets cooked by Ryan Garcia, unbeknownst to the commissioner or anyone about the Osterine. So it's an unfortunate situation, but it happened. There were many red flags for this Haney-Garcia fight. I told you about a lot of them. You guys didn't want to listen to me, and now here we are. And what makes it worse for this whole fight with Devin Haney is he got battered versus Ryan Garcia. And then, what is this? As of right now, his record's 31-1. We'll see if that changes to a no contest, no decision, which is what should happen. Even though Devin's team won a disqualification, it's likely to be a no contest, no decision if Ryan Garcia can't explain his side of why the Osterine's in the system or whatever. And what does it say? Suspended by the New York State Athletic Commission indefinitely. So what a predicament that Devin Haney is in, which is what I told you guys. He's still suspended for the punishment suffered in the Ryan Garcia fight. But then the WBC, for them, it's business as usual, politics as usual, right? So they're saying, you got to fight Sandor Martin. If not, we go into purse bid June 18th. So now the pressure's on. The walls are closing in on Devin Haney because I'm not the smartest brother in the world. It's the end of May. You know, my rent's due on the 1st, so I'm pretty aware of the time. May is coming to a close, and a purse bid is right around the corner, a few weeks out in June. Sandor Martin is, I'm not going to say the easiest, but he's probably one of the, in terms of, since he's not the biggest puncher stylistically, it could just be a good fight. But Sandor Martin is a bit tricky. He has sneaky power. I thought he beat Teofimo Lopez. He upset Mikey Garcia and retired Mikey Garcia. That's not necessarily an easy fight, but here's the downside for it. It's not an easy fight, in my opinion, especially after the punishment suffered for Devin Haney in the Ryan Garcia fight. Sandor is a tricky boxer from Spain. Psychologically, after seeing the Ryan Garcia, see, the thing is, the Haneys don't understand this, but I'm here to tell you what's up. You could believe me, don't believe me, don't matter. The world is not going to forget what they watched. No matter if the fight gets overturned or whatever the situation is with Ryan Garcia, people can't forget what we've seen, and it was a bad night versus Ryan Garcia. So guys like Sandor Martin, you have to imagine that they're going to be insanely confident going in there, because you look at Devin Haney, this is the Lomachenko fight. In Devin Haney's last 3 fights, 2 of the 3 are questionable, which is Ryan Garcia and Lomachenko. Some people thought he also lost. So his only win is the WBC, the only clear-cut win. I guess he did win versus Lomachenko, so let me rephrase that. But the only clear-cut in the fans' mind win is the fight with Regis Prograis, where you can't say that he lost the Regis Prograis fight. However, back to the weight situation, which we'll get to, in the fight with Regis Prograis, he came in very heavy, and this is something that Regis Prograis himself has complained about. So the walls are closing in. No matter what any of you guys say, that's what it is. You have Devin Haney, who's also manipulated weight, and then when Ryan Garcia beats him and finesses him with the weight, he's complaining about weight. And now that puts a pressure, especially if you're complaining about weight when you've been considered a weight bully. That's going to put pressure on Devin Haney's side. People aren't going to want to see him fight Sandor Martin with some insane weight advantage. It's going to be like there's so much going on, people. The California Commission is already on him, so you can't really do the fight in Cali because they've already been like tisk on Devin Haney's insane rehydration, and they're trying to get that under 15% for all fighters in California. So where do you even put this? Devin Haney, he claims the Bay Area. So California, to me, with the way his weight is set up and the rehydration, I don't think that's a foreseeable location, because we know that Devin Haney is rehydrating a lot, and there's a lot of pressure on the whole rehydration conversation. So where do you put this fight? Sandor Martin. Maybe hardcore boxing fans want to see it, but it's a tricky stylistic fight to sell. But there's let me say it like this. There's fights in boxing that aren't blockbuster fights, but as a fight, they're difficult fights. Same thing with Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford versus Madrimov, in and of itself, I'm not talking about the whole card. I'm talking about that fight. You can't put that fight by itself in Vegas with a lackluster undercard and expect great numbers. However, it could be a difficult fight because Madrimov can fight and so can Crawford, right? So that's kind of the similar situation that Devin Haney will be in. Or what do? Do you vacate the belt? Because if you get stripped or vacated of the WBC belt, then what do you, like, honestly, like, what is Devin at this point? What does he have if he gets removed, or if the belt comes up off him, right? Like, he's a WBC champion right now. So if he says, I'm not fighting Sandor Martin, it's a bad fight, or it's not, then people are going to say you ducked. That's one. Two, it's a hard fight to sell. Three, you'll be a beltless guy at 140. You have no other belt coming off the Ryan Garcia fiasco, which was a complete show and a complete circus. So it's like, where do you really go from there? Then you get down to the nitty gritty of the psychological damage and the PTSD and the physical damage and how physically taxing the Ryan Garcia fight was. I mean, it's a lot. It's going to be a lot of questions about Devin Haney's next fight. Like I said, I haven't said anything that I take back or don't agree with now. He's surrounded by tough fights. The champions, let's say somehow you convince the WBC to give you more time and then you can put off Sandor Martin. Maybe if it's a unification, all the unifications are dangerous. Guys like Pitbull Cruz, dangerous, and he's fighting El Rayo anyway. Then you got Subriel Matias, and he got a fight anyway with Liam Paro. So what does Devin Haney do? Plus, from what I see, Devin needs like a cool year off from the sport because of the punishment that was sustained. So I think he's in a very difficult place for the first time in his career. He's at like a weird crossroads point. And then if Ryan was cheating, that just makes it even worse. That just makes the damage even worse. And then guy barking up your tree like Sandor Martin, he didn't do anything. He didn't fail a drug test, but he wants his shot. He wants his opportunity. So Devin Haney's really surrounded by tough decisions and tough fights. It's going to be very interesting to see what's decided. Sandor Martin is not a give me fight at this point, especially. He's not massively undersized. He comes to fight. He comes in shape. He's already proven that he could play spoiler, right? So there's a lot of boxing, from what I've seen, a lot has to do with timing and momentum. The other thing is Ryan Garcia's left hook was catching him at will. You have Sandor Martin, who's a southpaw, just like Lomachenko, which is a guy that at 135, Devin struggled with, or at least in moments of the fight, he struggled with. So 2 of your last 3 fights are unclear. Sandor Martin is a tough customer. That's how I see it. And then the WBC ordering it, and you're still indefinitely suspended from the commission. I mean, this is FUBAR. Like I've been telling y'all, it's literally FUBAR. would Devin even want to fight if you didn't sell crazy numbers? And I'm assuming you didn't, because none of the numbers for Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney have come out in terms of pay-per-view numbers or anything of that sort. So if you have a guy like Ryan Garcia who was acting maniacal, acting like the Joker, and you didn't do no type of crazy numbers with him in New York, and you had such a bad experience, would Devin Haney even want to fight in New York for his next fight? Especially with all, depending on how the commission handles Ryan Garcia's Osterine test. 2, as I mentioned earlier in the video, you're from Cali, you say you're from Cali or whatever, and California is the commission that's being real tight in tamping down on the weight bullying, coming over 15%, which he's already infracted upon in the fight with Regis Prograis. So it's going to be like all eyes on you if you fight Sandor Martin and then you rehydrate 25, 27 pounds again, right? So then you have that. Then his second home is Las Vegas, which is a tourist town, but with all the quality fights like Tank versus Frank Martin, I really don't see a fight with Devin and Sandor Martin really kind of being a massive fight. But again, it could be a dangerous fight based on the craftsmanship of Sandor Martin. So the moves are gonna be very, very, just watch this space. They're gonna be very interesting to see how the Haneys choose to play it. They can keep talking and doing interviews with TMZ about Ryan Garcia, but they have to still move forth with their career if he's gonna continue fighting. And, you know, you're surrounded by tough fights and tough outs. A lot of people want to see a rematch with Ryan Garcia. Another fight that's do or die. If Ryan tests clean and then you rematch him and he beats you in that same fashion or worse, then people are really not gonna buy that it was the Osterine in the first time. So it would be a must-win scenario. All tough fights, I can assure you. And then let's say he vacates the belt. I'm just going over all scenarios in this video. Let's say he vacates the belt and says, all right, I'm not the WBC champion because I'm not fighting Sandor Martin. Then Sandor Martin will fight whoever for the WBC belt. Then you have a beltless Devin. His whole last fight, his brand took a hit. Sandor Martin would fight whoever to establish a new WBC champion. So what was the point of that cake video and talking about and still if you're gonna just get rid of your belt? You see what I'm saying? So I don't know what the Haney's next move is in terms of his next fight, but I will be watching.